All right, it's Joan with another movement of the day post for today's mod. Is all about the bear plank. So I don't like the regular plank. I know most people think of that as like a main exercise that they need to do. No, you don't. The bear plank, even though it's considered harder, if you do want to do the plank for a long time, like it's a big deal for people to hold the plank for a long period of time, again, it's not. But if you want to, then the bear plank is actually a good one to use as a regression into a proper plank, because that's usually my biggest problem with the plank is that it's kind of reinforcing bad form for an extended period of time because people are trying to hold it for so long. And also it doesn't do as much for the kind of the regular plank that most people do. Anywho, the bear plank, one of my favorite exercises. I know, what isn't? But it is actually, yes, it's harder, but it's actually easier. And I'll be able to demonstrate why in a second. But also, I love the bear plank because from that one position, you can transition into so many other exercises, whether it's a variant of the bear plank or some other composition of exercise that includes the bear plank, as a combo or as a starting point. So also the bear plank is also great for getting your alignment, your body alignment in check with this idea of 90-90, so that even if you have to do it without looking, you're very comfortable with this idea of what 90-90 is. And that has to do with your shoulders down to your wrists, okay? So your 2 points are, first 2 points are your shoulders, the next point is your wrist, another point would be your hips, another point would be your knees, and then your ankles, okay? So the 90-90 is what we're going for here. I'm low to the ground because the bear plank is done in on all fours. So tabletop position is what we're going to come to. And as long as you're looking something like this, don't worry about anything else for now. We're going to go one body part at a time to start engaging in proper form. Your head, you want to be neutral, so you don't want to be looking up or looking down. Keep your head, neck neutral, and help yourself by eyes to the floor, but gazing about 10 inches above, directly underneath, okay? So put your eyes about 10 inches in front. Now your hands are going to be right underneath your shoulders, okay? So we're not out here, okay? Right underneath your shoulders, and just like the proper form for a push-up, we're going to push the hands as if we're pushing into the floor, but also as if we're trying to push the floor together. So create that tension. So you're not actually moving your hands, but you want to create that tension as if you're trying to move the floor by moving your hands in together, okay? So when you create that tension, you're going to create the proper tension in your shoulders. So you don't have to be, you could try over engaging, okay, to get a feel for a full tension, but you want just enough tension so that you're not sinking down between your shoulder blades, okay? So that is your upper back. Now, once we actually get into bear plank, what you're going to notice, if I could do this looking at the camera, between your arms, okay, your entire upper body to your hips, down your thighs to the floor, we're going to try to create a even rectangle, all right? Then your knees, hip width apart, underneath your hips. So you're trying to create another 90-degree here, okay? And then a 90-degree with your calves, except that you're tucking your toes under, curling your toes under behind you, okay? So again, once we have that tension, we're going to now create tension through the abs, support your lower back, okay? And this is where it's easier. So it's easier to engage your abs, that means suck it in. It's going to cause your pelvis to tuck under just slightly, and that engagement is easier because of the fact that our knees are closer to our abs versus if they were out here in plank, okay? And if you try that now versus trying it this way, you'll feel that difference immediately. It's easier this way, so it helps you get into a proper ab engagement. From here, so pushing into the floor, pushing up through the abs, or sucking in your abs with your pelvis tucked. From here, we're going to push into the floor with the toes, push everything that we just talked about, and lift those knees off the floor. So if you try to lift it up enough to create that perfect rectangle, great. If it's just slightly, like an inch off the floor, as long as you're hovering and you feel your ab engagement kick in and your leg engagement kick in, you're good. 30 seconds, okay, is plenty for this, especially if you then are able to combine it with some other variants. You know, simplest one would be just like one arm out forward, as long as you're not, you know, tilting. You're trying to keep everything square. That's the other element that you're learning with the proper bear plank, is to keep your hips square, meaning completely even towards the ground and not tilting up one way or another, okay? Which is really hard, which is mostly your ab engagement kicking in to help you keep stable there. So it is a great ab exercise, but if you try it, it's good for your arms, shoulders, legs, all right? Give that a go. This is Jen signing off, reminding you to start where you are, do what you can, use what you have, and move something.